Well, hello there, people. I hope you are keeping very well indeed. And we are back with another deck recipe for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. As always, this can be tweaked for TCG and OCG based on their restrictions as well. Either way, I present to you my Spright Live deck. Now, there is actually a big reason why I'm bringing this out now. Although I've been using the Evil Twins for a while now, and in general this particular mix of Live Twins and Sprights for ages, in Master Duel there's a bundle that's just been released, the 1000 day anniversary bundle, where it focuses on the Live Twins, and in general it's got really funky accessories inside there. I heavily recommend you get the bundle if you haven't already. But with that note, a lot of people are probably wondering how to use the Evil Twins effectively. And so this is why we're bringing this out now. The other big plus is there's a couple of restrictions that have changed. One big restriction, to be fair, which I'll cover shortly. So I'm very happy to bring this out now. This is an updated deck list in terms of since I was using it ages ago when Sprights first came out, when Live Twins first came out in Master Duel. So I'm very happy with this deck at this moment in time. Live Twins aren't considered meta, but this deck can put up a pretty funky board. I would go to say it's a great rogue deck, quite easy to learn once you're getting into it, but the plays can go on for quite a while. If you're really lucky, your opponents might be quitting out just due to the time the time you're using setting up, depending what rank you're in. Anyway, we don't want to concentrate on those sorts of wins. We want to concentrate on how we use the deck. So, without further ado, let's get on into it. As always, I'll go through the monsters, spells, traps, followed by the extra deck, cover off any combos and things to watch out in between. And if you've got any other questions after this video, then please do put them in the comments section below, or feel free to join the Discord. That's in my description below this video also. And feel free to ask away. I'll get back as soon as I can to you. And without further ado, let's head on into it. So, 3 Maxxs, that needs no explanation really, just do it. Just do it. We've then got 2 Live Twin Ki-sikil, 3 Live Twin Lil-la, and 1 Live Twin Ki-sikil Frost. Now, the things to note here with the Live Twins, especially in this variant with Sprights, is you really want to be using the Live Twin effects first when it comes to summoning. So just to cover that off, Live Twin Ki-sikil, if you normal or special summon this and there's no other monster on your side of the field, then you can special summon Lil-la. And Lil-la does the opposite. You normal or special summon Lil-la, and if there's no monsters on your side of the field, special summon out Ki-sikil. And that is either standard Live Twin Ki-sikil or Live Twin Ki-sikil Frost. On that note, if you are summoning Lil-la first, and you don't have Ki-sikil Frost in your hand, then I recommend searching Ki-sikil Frost first, and I'll tell you why shortly. But either way, with that restriction of no other monsters being on your side of the field to be able to activate those special summoning effects, that's why you do summon this out first before going for the Sprights. So wanted to clear that up first and foremost. Running 2 Ki-sikil as well. I prefer a even split of 3, I'm going to say 3 pinks and 3 blues. You can use a third one if you want, but this deck, the deck space is very, very tight. You really want to keep it at 40 cards. Yes, you could argue that a third Ki-sikil is an additional starter, which is really funky, but you don't want to overjam your hand with tons of starters, which are supposed to find each other. You know, if you're ending up with 3 Ki-sikils in your hand to start with, that's rough. Whereas if you end up with 2 Ki-sikils and a Ki-sikil Frost in your hand, that's actually not so bad. So with that, Ki-sikil Frost also, it's got 2 effects. One, which is if there's a Lil-la monster out on the field, then you can special summon this out from your hand, which is great. And the second one is if this is in the graveyard and your opponent adds a card to their hand from the main deck, then you can banish it from your graveyard and draw a card yourself. Now, of course, that is a random card, but extra draw power is always nice, isn't it? Now, I personally don't play the alternate version of Lil-la, the Treat, because I don't think it's as good an effect. I mean, it's funky, it's not as good. The first effect is very similar with the special summon side, which is if you've got a Ki-sikil monster out, you can special summon it out from your hand. However, the alternate one is when either player takes battle damage, when either player takes damage from a battle involving an evil twin monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses attack equal to that battle damage. It's funky, but it's a lot more niche than the general, if your opponent adds a card to their hand, draw a card. So that's why I don't run that in my version of this deck. Moving on, we've then got 2 Spright Blues, 2 Spright Jets, 1 Spright Pixies, 1 Spright Red, 1 Spright Carrot. So using all of the main deck Spright monsters, although one of each that isn't restricted. In general, for those that don't know the Spright engine, usually you would aim for Spright Blue first. If that's special summoned, you usually aim for Jet if you don't already have that in your hand. Jet, once special summoned, would then help you search for a Spright spell or trap card. And usually if you don't have it in your hand already, then you'll be searching for Spright Starter, which would then special summon another Spright monster from your deck. Bearing in mind you don't want to go for another Spright Blue or Spright Jet because those effects are once per turn, so you'd either be looking for Red or Carrot, depending on the situation, and then you would search for Pixies later with other effects. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. So yeah, those are the sprites. Again, in terms of their special summoning side, you could special summon any of them as long as there's a level 2 or link 2 or rank 2 monster on the field. So very, very easy to summon. You know, you just need one of them in your hand to start the special summoning process. This is why, as well, it's great to do the live twins first, because you'll end up with level 2 monsters on the field to be able to trigger those special summoning effects. If you don't special summon it, if you only normal summon, that's an issue. Unfortunately, you don't get the effect off, so just be aware of that if you're unfamiliar with the Spright engine. We've then got 1 EMP Meowmine. Very funky card, came out somewhat recently in Master Duel. If a link monster, rather than a lunk, I'm pretty sure that's an animation on YouTube. If a link monster is on the field or in either graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, very similar to Sprites. You can only special summon EMP Meowmine once per turn this way. That's okay because we only run 1. If a link 2 monster you control is sent to the graveyard or banished face up, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard if it was there when the monster was sent or banished, or hand, even if not, then target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So the key thing there is you don't want to keep Meowmine on the field. If you're going to special summon it to the field, use it as fodder for link material or rank material, as long as you then use it to put it back into the graveyard, because its secondary effect is really, really cool. That bounce effect, bearing in mind it's target 1 card your opponent controls, it's not just monsters. Yeah, really, really good effect. So 1 of those. I actually run 1 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. You could argue to either, if you really wanted to, take out an Ash Blossom and put a second Ghost Ogre in there. It really depends on the meta at the time. At this moment, Tenpai is huge, and lots of people are using Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit to counter that. But I've always found 1 is nice to have in the hand, really. Yes, you're not going to draw it often, but it's a hand trap. If you don't like Ghost Ogre, feel free to swap it out with an Effect Veiler or something similar. And then 3 Ash Blossoms. I prefer keeping these at 3. Ash Blossom, always funky, especially with Maxx currently going hard in the format. Also stops other particular nasty cards from using their effects properly. Going into the spells, then got 1 Triple Tactics Talent, as well as 1 Triple Tactics Thrust. So depending on the scenario, you can use Thrust to bring Triple Tactics Talent to your hand if the opponent has a monster on their side of the field and you're able to use Triple Tactics Thrust. Or alternatively, if you can't bring a card to your hand because the secondary effect isn't active, you can search an Imperm. That's always quite nice to have. Always quite nice to have. I then run 2 secret passwords. I found 3 is very, very heavy. Bearing in mind the secret password searches a evil twin / live twin spell or trap from the deck to your hand, and all we run in this particular deck is live twin Sunny Snitch, especially if you've got a Sunny Snitch in your hand already. A third secret password is going to be dead. Also, before anything, before you start your turn, well, you have to start your turn first, but if you've got secret password in your hand, use it as your first move. And the reason I say that is because this can be used as Ash Blossom bait, because especially if you've already got live twin Sunny Snitch in your hand, or one of the live twins, then the last thing you want is to do one of these first. That gets ashed, and then you're stuck with a secret password which you can't trigger a Sunny Snitch again, depending on the scenario, of course. So yes, use secret password first. Big thing. Big thing for this deck. So as I mentioned, 3 live twins Sunny Snitch. Also, its effect, when this card is activated, you can add a live twin monster from your deck to your hand. If you've already got Lil-la in your hand, then search for Ki-sikil Frost. Again, you've got that special summon. Otherwise, yeah, go for the, if you've already got this in your hand, then go for the one that you've got less of in your hand, if that makes sense. We won't go through the secondary effects. It's not really huge. You know, if while you control an evil twin monster, each time your opponent normal special summons a monster, you gain 200 life points, and if you do, inflict 200 damage to your opponent. That's not really a thing with this deck, unless you're going to try and make a burn version, which is possible, but you're not too fussed about that side. Then got 2 called by the grave, 1 Crossout Designator. Lots of stuff you can call, you know, Maxx, called by the grave, Imperm, yeah, Ash Blossom as well. Yeah, you can hit a few things, even your own triple tactics talent or triple tactics thrust if needed. Now, I actually like this card, 1 live twin home. I wouldn't say it's entirely necessary, but it is possible that can help you out in a pinch. So its effect, discard a card, special summon a Ki-sikil monster or Lil-la monster from your deck. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except evil twin monsters. So you've got to bear that in mind. This is more of a your plan B, or even your plan C, really, because you do want to be able to special summon out the sprite monsters from the extra deck, including, you know, things like SP Little Knight or IP Masquerade, etc., etc. But if you've been hammered with hand traps, then this can at least still get some evil twin stuff going. So run 1 of these, definitely no more than that. 3 Spright Starters. So the restriction was lifted recently in Master Duel. This has gone from 2 to 3, which is great. Yeah, just run 3. Special summon a Spright monster from your deck, but lose life points equal to its original attack. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon except level, rank, or link 2 monsters. So the only thing this really restricts is your extra deck. It means you can't summon Nightmare Griffin immediately, or Evil Twins Trouble Sunny, or go into Downerd Magician, Zeus, or Superstar Slayer Typhon. Everything else is fair game though. It's not a huge issue having that effect trigger, but you just got to be aware of that if you're getting used to this deck type for the first time. We've then got 1 Spright Gamma Burst. Definitely not a turn 1 card because this is damage related. All level, rank, or link 2 monsters currently on the field gain 1400 attack and defense until the end of this turn. And then during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 level, level, rank, or link 2 monster you control. It gains 1400 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. Usually, this is a finisher card. You can have lots of sprites and evil twins out on the field, including, live twin and evil twins out on the field. Increase her attack and just finish the opponent. It's a really, really good card. Only run 1. If you wanted to put more hand traps in, you could look at removing this card, but I find this so helpful, especially as there's not really powerhouses in this deck. That is the issue if you're if you don't run this card. We then got 1 Spright Smashers. I think 1 is fine enough. Banish a Spright card from your hand or graveyard, then activate 1 of these effects. And the only effect you're going to use is banish a level, rank, or link 2 monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls. So yes, it sucks you have to banish your own monster there, but being able to banish without targeting is really, really cool when it comes to affecting your opponent. Yes, definitely run one of these. It's a nice search as well if you've already gone into your Spright Starter. Yeah, I would definitely use this as the secondary search if you've already hit Spright Starter. And then 3 infinite impermanence, standard hand trap shenanigans, again searchable by Triple Tactics Thrust as well. Moving into the extra deck then, we've got One Sky Cavalry Centaurea. You won't be using this too often, but this is like a plan B as well. So if you've really been restricted and all you've got are 2 monsters to make, especially turn 2, then what you do is attack with this, attach a material if the monster would be destroyed, to save yourself, and then in main phase 2, rank up into Downerd Magician, and then rank up again into Divine Arsenal Zeus. Bear in mind, if you've already used Spright Starter, you can't do the ranking up, so be aware of that. This at least puts a board wipe ready for you, or to mess about with what your opponent's already set up. Really, really nice. Now, I run 1 gigantic Spright at the moment. 2 is very nice. 2 is a very nice sweet spot. You can get away with 1. Unfortunately, extra deck space is very, very tight. If you prefer to play 2 gigantic Spright instead, which I don't blame you, then you could either drop a Lil-la, because we run 2 of them, or even drop a Trouble Sunny. I find that Trouble Sunny isn't used as much. However, if it is turn 3 and you're the lead on it, then you no longer have the level 2 restriction or link 2 restriction going on. So what you usually want to do is try and finish the opponent, bring out Trouble Sunny. It's a 3300 beat stick, and then use its effect to special summon out Lil-la and Ki-sikil, in particular the eviltwin variants, and finish. That's like 5500 damage there. But yeah, if push came to shove and you wanted a second gigantic, I would look at the Lil-la or the Trouble Sunny. If you really wanted to, you could drop the Typhon. Not everyone plays it. However, speaking of Typhon, I do run one because sometimes it's just one of those things where your opponent has every hand trap, negation, etc., and then you've only got 1 monster on the field on your turn 2. You can then bring out Star Slayer Typhon, use its effect to get rid of something nasty, attack as well for 2900 attack. Yeah, you've got options with this extra deck if you wanted to use 2 gigantic Spright. But I think you just got to figure out what's best for you and go from there. Moving on, 1 IP Masquerainer. Really, really cool card. I'll tell you the usual setup that I do shortly. Moving on for now though, 2 eviltwin Ki-sikil, 2 eviltwin Lil-la. You will be special summoning out, if it gets to turn 3, you can be special summoning out these monsters. Again, this is why I prefer running 2 of each of these, depending on your hand. 2 Spright Elf, huge card. 1 is too few, in my opinion. 3 too many, 1 too few. Until they put in a restriction, run 2 whenever you can. Just a quick one with eviltwin, Ki-sikil and Lil-la before I forget actually. As a new user to eviltwins, one thing to remember is they both have an effect, quick effect in the main phase mind you, which is during the main phase if you do not control a opposite monster. So if you're controlling Lil-la, you can bring out a pink. If you're bringing out Ki-sikil, you can bring out a blue. Then you can special summon that opposite monster from your graveyard to the field, but then you can't special summon out any other monster unless it's a fiend type. So what you want to do is when special summoning with your sprites and whatnot, get all of that out of the way first, and then leave the special summoning ability of Ki-sikil and Lil-la to the final stages of your turn. Usually, especially for turn 1 setup. There's no harm in special summoning it out special summoning the initial monster out, part of the link summon. That isn't what locks you into fiends. It's once you use the quick effect. So do bear that in mind when setting up. Then got 1 SP Little Knight, very easy monster to bring out. 1 Nightmare Griffin, I'll tell you more about this in a sec. And 1 Evil Twins Trouble Sunny. So I briefly went over the effect of Trouble Sunny a bit earlier, but just to clarify, use 2 monsters at least, including an Evil Twin monster. Quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon up to 1 Ki-sikil monster and up to 1 Lil-la monster from your graveyard. Usually you are going for the Evil Twin variants, because, you know, they're chunkier and they've got those effects going on. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard and send 1 Evil Twin monster from your deck. Hand, deck, or face-up field to the graveyard. Send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. Again, non-targeting. It's great. Really, really great. And my apologies, I'm going back to the Evil Twins again. I totally forgot to go through what you would usually want to summon first. So, if it's turn 1, 99% of the time, by the end of your board setup, you want to special summon Evil Twin Ki-sikil first, followed by Evil Twin Lil-la. So what you do, special summon Evil Twin Ki-sikil, you bring out the normal Lil-la from the graveyard, so that's 2 monsters. Then you use those 2 as link material to go into a Lil-la. Then use Evil Twin Lil-la's effect to go into to special summon Evil Twin Ki-sikil. And what Evil Twin Ki-sikil's effect is, in particular, where is it here? If this card is special summoned and you control a Lil-la monster, you can draw 1 card. Great on turn 1, amazing. More possibilities to draw into hand traps, which is great. Whereas if you go the opposite way round, you're usually doing that in turn 2 and beyond. So for Lil-la, if this card is special summoned and you control a Ki-sikil monster, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. So it's a really, really good effect. And again, this is why it's a possibility to take a Lil-la out if you want a gigantic sprite. However, I've had many scenario where I can special summon both. So again, yeah, that's why I run 2 and 2 there. Now, Nightmare Griffin. This is where we go into the turn 1 setup. So just in terms of this guy's effects here, if this card is link summoned, you can discard a card, then target a spell trap in your graveyard, set it to your field, but it cannot be activated this turn. Then if this card was co-linked when this effect was activated, you could draw a card. Cool, that's great. However, this is what's good. Special summoned monsters on the field cannot activate their effects unless they are linked. That is huge. That is huge. And usually your best turn 1 board, and I'll be doing a video of this separately with Jules to show you how I would usually use these Evil Twins, is you would have an IP Masquerader on the field, the Spright Elf, and both Evil Twin monsters. So that's the best turn 1 board, because then what you can do is when your opponent does anything, or when the time is right, it really, really does depend. You have to sort of judge as and when is the right time. You can then use IP Masquerader's effect to tribute itself and a Lil-la to special summon out Nightmare Griffin in the middle of the board, not in the standard extra monster zones. And then what you would have is a Spright, another side as well that you could bring out with Spright Elf. Bearing in mind these are all connected, so you've got your Spright Elf, your Lil-la, your Nightmare Griffin, your Ki-sikil, Nightmare Griffin, and then if you was to special summon out Lil-la to destroy a monster, you bring it on the other side of either the Spright that you've got, your Red or Carrot, or you could put it into a spare slot on the left side where Spright Elf is pointing. You just got to make sure these are pointing to a monster to be linked. That's what you've got to be super, super aware of. If you're not pointing it to a monster at all, then it means it's not linked. It means you can't use the effect, so be aware of that. But moving on from that, Nightmare Griffin's effect really messes up with the opponent if they can't get over it. So you can win games like that. It can just stop the opponent dead if they don't have any responses. It's a huge first turn play. Huge first turn play. So I think we're going to leave it there, everyone. In the meantime, I'm still going to try rolling the dice on getting the alternate art Evil Twin Ki-sikil, because I'm on it. But let me know your thoughts. Have you gone for the alternate art style versions? How are you finding the Evil Twins, live twins? And again, any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help you. So until next time, you all take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now.